Good morning everybody and welcome back. Well, I've only gone and bloody done it. I got myself another car. Thank you. At the middle of the field. XCOM cable. Fill it with some red eggs. And here it is. Now I know some of you will buzz on to see what it is, but I'm actually filming this the day after I bought it, which was yesterday. It was such a wet morning that I couldn't film the intro here, so I just decided to go and film this the day after. Now I wasn't really looking for this particular car, and I was browsing Facebook Marketplace and eBay as petrolheads usually do, and this one popped up, and I thought, crumbs, I'm going to have to go and have a look at it. And I was over that way anyway, and I popped in, had a look at the car, and I thought, crumbs, I'm just going to have to buy this. And it was at a cheap price, but it was at a cheap price for a reason, which I'll tell you about later on. But I do like a day out to collect a new car, and it turned out to be quite an adventure because it took me almost all day to do about 80 miles, but you'll see what happened next. Good morning all, how's she going? And welcome to this dreich Sunday morning, and I've just come from my house, which is over there. Up this steep hill to get to the mainline station, which is in the middle of this medieval castle. And I don't know if you can see them there, but there's a whole series of steps on the walls, and when I was a laddie, as a rite of passage, you climbed all the way from the bottom right up to the top of those steps, and I can tell you I've done it and it's scary. But the reason for all this is that I'm catching a train and I'm going to Gretna Green. No, I'm not going to get married. I'm going to pick up my next new car. I really must get fitter. Now, to get to Gretna Green, which is in Scotland, you've actually got to travel 60 miles down south. And I live right in the top corner of England. I've got to travel 60 miles down south through England to get to Scotland. Now work that one out. And I wasn't lying when I said it was in the middle of the castle, because there's the castle, there's the main line, and there's the station, and the station itself actually sits in the middle of the Great Hall. So you're not really here for a history lesson. I wait to get this card in Gretna Green, and I'm not going to tell you what it is yet.
To arrive at platform
Thank
2
you.
will be the 10:11 Transpennine Express service to Edinburgh.
We'll just have to wait to see what it is until we get there. There we have it, I've arrived in Gretna Green, and don't you just love rural stations? I've stepped off the train into the middle of a field. But the lad I'm buying the car off is called Andy, and he just lives round the corner. And I bought this car off Facebook Marketplace, and I'm generally not keen on buying cars off Facebook Marketplace because you often get some dodgy deals and some dodgy people. But not the kind of car that I'm getting today. Generally when I deal with this sort of car, they're always good people without exception. I've actually already seen this car. I was working over here last week and I just sort of nipped in, had a look, and we agreed a price there and then. So I've got it all tax tested and MOT'd, and I've actually already paid him because he's actually a really nice guy and I totally trust him. But I'll probably get round there and he's scarpered. But I'm quite apprehensive. I'm quite apprehensive about driving it home, and there's a good reason for that, which I'll tell you about shortly. I'm going to stop on the way back and give you a brief look around the car. But I'm going to get round to Andy's now, get the keys off him, just get into the car and go. And yes, it's an Audi 1.6 FSI. This will come as no surprise to many of you, and I'm just going to knock on the door, get Andy out, and we'll swap the keys over, have a little chat, and we're going to get on my way just as soon as I can. Well, I've driven it a few miles now. I was keen to get a few miles under my belt before I actually stopped, and I'm just going to keep it running here. But there is a big elephant in the room, and that's the engine management light that's on. Now that's the reason it was cheaper, because that light is on and it's not running up to full power. I know I've had a 1.6 FSI before, but I did actually like that car once I got it sorted, and for various reasons, which I'll tell you about tomorrow after I get it home, you know, I really wanted another one. So I'll take you outside and we'll have a quick look around. As I say, I'm going to leave it running. I don't want to stop it just in case it'll low start again, and we'll have a little look. So he actually cleaned it and he's got it looking really smart, and I love these alloy wheels. It's a 54 plate and it's got the mesh grille in it, or the slatted grille, and it's got a lovely stance for these alloys. He did have an issue with the back door. He was saying that the car locks itself, and when he had it open yesterday the car didn't lock itself, so it could be the little micro switch in the back door, which I'm going to have a look at. So there you have it, a quick look. I'm going to try and nurse it all the way home now, not going over 60 miles an hour, but that's fast enough. There isn't there isn't a rattle, a squeak or a bang in the car whatsoever, and it drives really nice and tight, and the steering's really light, which is good. I see it's got winter tyres on it as well, which I don't really mind, you know. So I've got my emergency pack with us, so I'm just going to get home and hopefully get back before it gets dark. So we're back, and it took 1 hour 50 minutes, which is actually quite good going, and it actually ran pretty well, but I never doubted it for a minute. But it does struggle to rev up from idle, and there's not much power on low revs, and this car runs in 2 modes, and I forget what they're called. I'm going to have to swap up on them tomorrow, but stereophonics, there you go. But the engine management light stays on, so I'm going to look into that tomorrow. I'll get the VAGCOM on it. So I'm just going to go in tonight and chill out, because I was up early this morning, and have an early night, and get out tomorrow and just go into it in a bit more detail. So, good night, and we'll see you tomorrow. And there you have it, my little 1.6 FSI. And why have I gotten a 1.6 FSI? Because the last one I had was incredibly unreliable, it wouldn't run right, and I had all sorts of problems with it. Well, it's because I actually like them. I've had 2 1.4 TDIs, and they're a wee bit gutless, you know, taking off the mark and accelerating, but when they have a sort of limited rev range, and when you're in that, they're really good. They had power. They had one that was remarked and it was really good, but this will rev right throughout the whole range, and it'll pull away from junctions quickly, and it's quite a nice little car to run about in. The other thing is it's also ULEZ free, so I get 1 or 2 jobs up in Edinburgh, I'll be able to take this in, but I won't be able to take my van in future. Also, this is great for zipping about town, you know, for going around the town here, for getting here, there and everywhere. And I do like a petrol, so that's why I've got the FSI. This particular one, there's 2 modes it runs in, stratified and homogeneous. There you go, remember them. And they generally have a problem with the stratified part of the running system, and that's at the low rev range, which this one has, and it'll barely pull off the mark, and it stutters and misfires at low revs. And they actually put this through Vagcom, and they found 2 codes related to injectors. Now I know with the, and I've done a lot of research online now with the stratified part of it, and a lot is to do with the carbon buildup on the intake manifolds. And the other thing is that you can get a Pro Boost ECU map to cancel out all this, but you really have to get them kind of running right in the first place, so that's what I'm going to do. The car actually came with a second-hand high pressure fuel pump. I'll replace like the spark plugs, the cam sensor, easy things like that before I start taking off inlet manifolds and that sort of thing. I've also picked up 1 or 2 little tricks that I can do to move the engine forward, you know, by taking off the engine mount so that you've got enough room to get in behind the engine to work in it. And I'll do the death pipe at the same time, put a new one of those on. The Pro Boost map just gives you peace of mind. I don't think it increased the performance in any way, and you probably get a reduction in fuel economy, but you've got to use high octane fuel in this anyway, and for the price of diesel nowadays against the price of petrol, you know, some things can work out the same, especially when these things can do like 40 to 45 to the gallon. I noticed on the way home there's 1 or 2 other little problems. The strut top was vibrating or rattling. Fortunately it's the passenger side, which is the easy one to get off. Also the brakes weren't particularly good, they were a bit pitted and they weren't performing well, so I have to put 4 new brakes on it. There's other things I want to do with it as well, but the main thing is these cars, because of the problems they have, the 1.6 FSIs, a lot of them are getting scrapped. People are having problems with them and they're not wanting to repair them, they're not wanting to get into it and repair them, and I'm a big believer in recycle, reuse, and it doesn't bother me rattling about in an old car. And you know, we have the last laugh because we know that these are tremendous little cars to drive and to own, and you really get attached to them. I mean, this is the 5th one I've had now. But the thing is that I want you, and if anybody's got a problem with one of these FSIs, you know, I'm no expert, you know, you might not be an expert, but I know that there'll be experts out there, people who've had these problems before and have solved them. So I want to hear what your problems are with your cars, how they're running. I want to hear how you've repaired them, if you've repaired them, whether you've scrapped them. Whatever comment you've got, please do comment in the comment section below. I kind of want to do this as a joint effort. You know, as I repair this, you'll see how I've done it, how I get in about it, you know, doing all the easy jobs first, eventually getting into the inlet manifolds. And I believe carbon buildup is a big problem with these engines as well. And I found online that there's a real trick of cleaning the inlet manifolds using cable ties of all things. So I'll probably end up doing that as well. But I want to get it running right at the end of the day. I want to take you with me on that journey because I'll end up with a really good car, you know, at the end of the day, and one that I'll really enjoy driving and possibly keeping, dare I say. So I'm going to start it up now from cold, and you'll hear what it's like. You'll see the engine vibrating. Then I'm going to take it out for a run and show you what it's like driving, and then I'll report back later. Just before I take it for a test run, I'm going to fill it with some Red X for the injectors, because you never know, it might help in some sort of a way. There you go, that's the road test done, and it's definitely lacking power both at the bottom and at the top end as well. I'm going to get my VAGCOM on it now, and I'm also going to put my cheap V-Gate iCar Pro in it as well, just to see if they both ping up different codes or the same codes. So that's it plugged in, and I'll click on my car scanner software. This is a free app that you can download. I keep getting asked about this quite a lot, and you just click connect. And it's busy connecting. That's it connected, and you just click on the diagnostic icon, read the codes, read them, and it just takes a minute. It's quite quick, this. And it's just come up with one code, which is a P, now they read it through my specs, a P0304, and it's got cylinder 4 misfire detected. I'm just about to plug in my VAGCOM, and I bought this HEXCOM cable 2-3 years ago now when I got my first A2, and I think if you have one of these cars, this is a necessity, and this is a genuine Rostec HEXCOM cable. And when you buy this, you can then register on their website, and you get constant updates to it, and this is sort of bang up to date. But this will only do vehicles up to Audi vehicles, Volkswagen and Audi vehicles up to 2006. But the VCDS software, it's difficult to get into and get your head round, especially for me. I was never good at school. I learned through repetition, and you could probably get away with just an ordinary little scanner like the little freebie I've got, the iCar Pro. It gives you the basic codes, but if you want to, and I'll probably have to with this one, get more into it, into the guts of the car, you really need to learn the VCDS, and that's what I'm going to have to do. So I run it on this old laptop. It's a Windows 7 laptop, and you need an old laptop because you need the serial port in the back, and lots of the new laptops won't have it. So I've got the latest release of VCDS, and I'll open that up, and I'll just plug the cable in underneath, which is easier said than done because it's right away in there. That's it on, and I think for this I'll probably, you've got to have the ignition on, but I'll probably start the car anyway, make sure it's out of gear, and I don't want to run forward into the Tweed. Now you might have to select the vehicle. And we'll click on engine here. It's just going to detect it automatically, which it's doing. And I'll just click for fault codes, and it's come up with 4 codes as opposed to the single code in the iCar Pro diagnostic tool. And I'll print these out better shortly, but it's coming up with random multiple cylinder misfire detected, cylinder 4, but it's also got 2 other codes: air intake system leak detected, bank 1 camshaft A intake, you know, whatever these mean. But as I say, I'm going to copy them and I'll do a bit of research on them later on. Well, there you have it, my little 1.6 FSI, and I have to say I'm quite pleased with it, even though it's not running right. But I'll get to the root of that and I'll get it fixed. You know, I had that previous silver one which I managed to sort, and then I ran into a deer. So that was that. But this one, you know, if I get it running right, it's one that I really want to keep. I'm really looking forward to getting out again this year and meeting all the other A2 owners, you know, the owners clubs meets, and also getting out in the Audi Coupe as well. You know, I might go to some of the meets with that as well. But I want to take you with me on the journey of trying to fix this one. You know, I want to hear if anybody's had any problems with theirs, If you manage to fix it, you know, whether you're an expert, you know, whether you're an amateur like myself, you know the problems you've had. Please let me know, please ask questions and write them down in the comment section below or message me privately. So I'm going to wind this video up here. I'm not actually going to start anything just now. The next video that I'll be doing will be the first stages in getting this car fixed and repaired. So as usual, if you've enjoyed the video, please thumbs up, please subscribe, and we'll see you again soon. That's it done now. I'm not good at washing cars, I'm good at getting them dirty. I find it pretty onerous to be honest. I'd much rather be working on the damn things. But that's it clean now, so I'm going to go and take some nice pictures of it.